Hello gamers, today we're doing something a tad bit different than usual, as this video isn't talking about a game, but a game developer. And also this video it's still scripted like my other ones, it's just a little more off the cuff than the other ones, because for this I kind of just wanted to talk. Now I'm sure most of you have heard of the news about Volition, the developers of the newest Saints Row game and all the Saints Row games, that they have just recently closed their doors, which you may think that I would be happy about, as I am very, very, very negative towards the Saints Row reboot. However, a game company should not be judged by one game. Now, it's no lie that the past two Volition games released have been absolutely awful. The Saints Row reboot was just despised completely by everyone, and the game they released before that possibly had a worse outcome, as I don't think many people even know what Agents of Mayhem is, apart from a game that looks like Saints Row, and a game that had a not very good combat system, which is very unideal when your game is based around a combat system. But Volition have been developing games for almost 30 years when they closed their doors. And let's just say, if you ignore the Saints Row reboot and Agents of Mayhem, almost every single game they developed was absolutely incredible. From obviously everything else in the Saints Row series, which you either like 1 and 2, or you like 3 and maybe 4. Okay, maybe people also didn't like 4. But 4 wasn't as bad as the reboot or Mayhem, so my point still stands. But not only did they do the Saints Row series, they also did the Red Faction series, which was a criminally underrated series, especially Red Faction Guerrilla. That game was just incredible fun. They also made a Punisher game, which I mean was interesting. They made the 2006, was it 6? 2006 or 5 published Punisher game, which I was actually thinking of doing a video on eventually when I got around to it. But so all I'm trying to say basically is, this is a sad day for the industry. But not surprising, as the video game industry is also currently having the same problem the movie one is, where every single game costs millions upon millions to make, and at the same time they put millions upon millions into marketing. But the games just need to make so much money to become profitable, but they also have strict timelines they need to make, which A, leads to crunch in developers, which isn't good. And also, excluding like Baldur's Gate 3, I can't even think of a last AAA release that released on release date without any notable bugs that just ruined the experience. And when a game releases like that, Saints Row is a bad example because that reboot was just a bad game throughout. But let's go Jedi Survivor. I still haven't played it. Yeah, I'm getting around to it eventually, probably. But that game released horribly. As I'm sure everyone knows, no gaming PC in the world could play it. Not even the NASA space computer could run that game. And that will probably affect that game's lifespan. It will do a little bit less than it would have done, assuming they eventually fix it, which I believe they have. But that's just the thing. They need to make so much profit, and when you release something so shit, yet costs so much money to make, that's going to spoil people to that game, and they're not going to want to buy it. And I feel that is definitely one of the factors that led to Volition's closing. And they released 2 games that no one liked. But I don't feel that, you know, they only released Saints Row a year ago, or a year and a couple weeks ago at the time of recording this. Now, I'm not saying they could have turned it around, because at this point, I don't believe that, especially looking at the DLCs they released. But at the same time, it is a sad day to see Volition close their doors. Because at the end of the day, they did make good games, and just maybe could have made great games again. Also, I don't think this is the last of big developers closing their doors. I think we're going to have a couple in the next couple years. Some of them might even shock you, as I'm also aware that Ubisoft was looking for someone to buy, and I don't think many people wanted to, which is interesting because I think they were only trying to sell for like 3 billion or something like that, which sounds like a lot, but for Ubisoft, think about it. Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy, Far Cry, it's not a lot of money. But I do believe a massive shakeup in the AAA scene is coming, and we'll just have to wait and see where everything lands. And also I just want to add, I hope everyone who works at Volition is able to find themselves another job. I did read an article saying a lot of Volition is still being sort of kept by Deep Silver, just like put on different projects for different studios. I don't know if that's true. I hope it is, but you never know. It's hard out there, folks. Real hard.